Aha! Ha 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 ha! Ha ha ha! Shh! Hold on. Am I?
Hiya! Take that! Finish him!
Dizzy. Don't feel good. That hurt. Ouch.
Oh no! Oh, no you don't. No you don't. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank goodness. My VHS tapes are safe. Oh, thank you. Oh, I can't believe they are all well and good. Oh boy, wow, they are nice. Oh, thank goodness they didn't get bumped into.
I have failed this time, but I will not fail again.
Oh, how dare you!
You may have won the battle, but you have not won the war. I shall leave right now to complete my training.
Ice!
I shall return to exact my revenge.
Alright, I should probably quit screwing around and hurry up and get another video uploaded before people complain. Jeez. What's up everyone? Janitor Jake here. Now see, what is one thing that was super-duper popular in the early 1990s that most people seem to forget about nowadays? Do you give up? Well, that one thing is martial arts. I mean, everyone and their grandma did some form of martial arts, whether it was Taekwondo, Isshinryu Karate, Kung Fu, or drunken boxing. And the main reason we all wanted to join was because of the entertainment industry. I mean, we had awesome comic books to read and some totally tubular cartoons to watch too, brah. And with Nintendo ruling the world at the time, we had some pretty awesome games to play as well. However, I would say that the biggest pusher of martial arts in the media were films. We had a plethora, ooh, what a big word, of awesome films to get us all didgeridooed and try to become ninjas. Oh yeah, except that there was one stink nugget out there that I'm pretty sure destroyed karate for most kids that watched it. And that terrible piece of poo is right here. Pocket ninjas. You know, I really do not want to review this film, but I have to. I have to do it to warn everyone out there. If you guys are out and about and you accidentally stumble upon this thing, please do not buy it. Do not blow your moolah on this horrible hogwashy piece of garbage, because if you do and you end up watching it, I guarantee your brain will turn to mush. Because it is that terrible. Jeez, so whatever. Without further ado, let's pop this puppy in and get to the review. Cinexcel Entertainment presents, huh? Oh, I bet you guys are just proud of yourselves too, ain't you? Just proud beyond belief. So anyways, the movie starts off pretty normal. A bunch of karate students doing some katas or whatever, and what looks like their sensei trying to be a tough guy.
There's certain things you'll always remember about being young, like your first kiss.
What?
Of course, there's always the first time you saved the universe.
Why the heck is he talking like that? I mean, am I watching one of those PSAs that they used to show us back in school about how Johnny and Mark became bad kids because they were smoking the devil's lettuce? Is that what I'm watching here? What is this?
I can see by the look on your face that you're confused.
No, you think?
I took karate lessons, read comics with my two friends, and I just enjoyed being a kid.
That's right, everyone. We need to stand up for the innocent and always believe in ourselves. Psst, absolutely terrible. So the basic story revolves around these three kids, Damien, Tanya, and Steve, who are being trained in Shorin-ryu karate. Their sensei decides to have story time and tells them some goofy story about some dude called the White Dragon, who started a group called, get this, the Dragons. Ooh, what a clever name. And they were formed to fight off some evil group called the Stingers. And because the sensei's dad just happened to be part of the Dragons, he's gonna pass the power down to these three nitwits to help stop the Stingers from taking over the city. So not too bad, right? It sounds like your stereotypical 1990s karate flick featuring a bunch of kids. So not bad, right? Well, you know what would have made it better? If they would have followed the actual synopsis written on the back of the VHS box. Let's read the back, shall we? Journey into misadventure as three young martial arts students discover a comic book about the mythical White Dragon. When the evil Cobra Khan jumps from the colorful pages into real life, the three students turn to their sensei, Master Jack, for help and guidance. Cobra Khan's gang, led by the bumbling Spike, is on the loose, and the city's only hope becomes three roller skating heroes in dragon masks. From the schoolyard to the backyard, these pocket ninjas are the fiercest fighting force under 4 feet. That sounds awesome! A bad guy ripping himself right out of the pages of a comic book to wreak havoc on the real world. It actually sounds like the plot to The Last Action Hero, except instead of being a movie, it would be a comic book. But do they do that? No, 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 no! Why would they do that? Instead, they chop it up all screwy-dooey and completely butcher what could have been a pretty good film. So, like I said, the sensei tells the kids all about the White Dragon and his nemesis, Cobra Khan. And then we see the kids beating up some bad guys. Okay, so it's established that they are the next generation of the Dragon Group. Except that later on, when the kids are in a treehouse, they find a comic book about the White Dragon, and they have no idea what they're looking at.
Who is he?
I think he's a superhero.
What are you babbling about? Your sensei literally just told you the story of the White Dragon. Well then, to make the scene even more ignorant, they start randomly making up idiotic stories about who the White Dragon might be. But Tanya's not having any of that, and she's completely grossed out by the story.
Ew, gross.
Oh, I know, a guy falling off a car? Ooh, so icky and gross.
There's one, Steve.
No, duh.
Well then, Tanya chimes in with her version, which is extremely specific, saying his name is Jack Crenshaw and his old master double-crossed him. Then he goes to get revenge, but he gets shot and he has to go to the hospital. Like, what in the world are you yakking about? However, it just so happens that the sensei's name is Jack Crenshaw. Oh, and by the way, his name is never once mentioned throughout the entire film up to this point. Okay, so now that the kids have the comic book, do we get to see how Cobra Khan jumps from the pages into real life? Of course not. Why would you do that? That would make too much sense. Jeez, and Cobra Khan, he's barely even in the stupid film. He has one scene at the beginning one scene at the end, and this one scene in the middle, which is one of the most ignorant, stupid, and insanely horrible scenes I have ever witnessed in a movie, let alone a martial arts movie. The White Dragon shows up at a balloon factory to fight Cobra Khan, and I don't even think more than 2 punches were thrown during this scene. Instead, they just want to be weird with each other. They play patty cake, the White Dragon starts dancing, Cobra Khan tries shooting him with a dart gun, but ends up hitting balloons instead, which makes him start getting down with his bad self. And all this balloon stuff is completely ridiculous. Like, what am I watching? They're bouncing on balloons, then popping the balloons, then smiling at them and touching them. You know, I feel like I'm watching one of those fetish videos. Is that what this is? Is that what I'm watching? What's going on here? Now, even though it was probably the dumbest scene in the entire movie, at least it was trying to be entertaining. Unlike the rest of the scenes, which is nothing but a bunch of boring, stupid, bland, hogwashy nonsense that does not belong in the film whatsoever. Huh. The fight scenes are completely atrocious. They're inconsistent and don't even come remotely close to looking real. And there's only a few fights in this stupid movie. And then there's this scene. The Stingers are gonna try to kidnap Damien's mom. And how are they gonna do it? Well, of course, use a fishing pole with a $100 bill tied to the monofilament. But when the $100 bill gets lost, she's like, okay, whatever, and moves on. Then they decide to use coupons, and now she's freaking out and going bonkers after the stupid thing. I understand the joke, but it's still pretty ignorant. Then, after the coupons get lost, they decide to use a naked picture of Jack. No, I'm just fooling. He has pants on. But now look at her. Look at her face. Man, she really wants that picture of Jack, doesn't she? And because of that, they capture her. Then we come to this scene where one of the Stingers decides to follow Damien using the old garbage can trick. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. So after about 3 hours of that garbage, a car with 2 other Stingers come flying in out of nowhere and crashes right into the trash can, which sends it flying. Now look at the trash can. It's completely empty. But when the Stingers go up to the can, they touch it for like 5 minutes before picking it up and struggling to take it to the back of the car, indicating that he's stuck in the trash can. Terrible. Now, not only is the movie filled with scenes like this, but the story itself is all chopped up and completely out of whack. So Cobra Khan is supposed to be the head honcho, right? The big dog who runs everything? Well, after the Stingers get their hind ends whipped for the first time, they go to break the bad news to their boss, Cobra Khan, right? No, of course not. It's some stupid kid. Like, really? A kid? Give me a break. Then some random dudes in suits show up and talk about giving the kid a business out of respect for his dad. So who's the kid's dad? Is it Cobra Khan? Who knows? They don't explain anything. Oh, and what's the business, you might ask? It's dumping toxic chemicals in the water. That's it. That's the entire business. Absolutely ignorant. And then at one point, the kids fight off like 5 Stingers who tried jumping some dude and his mom after he gets a haircut at some random motel. And the mom talks about it being in a shady part of town with bars on the windows. Okay, so you don't think it's shady that your kid's getting a haircut in some random motel room? What's wrong with you? So of course the kids beat up the Stingers, and when the Stingers go back to tell their boss, he asks how many Stingers there were, and the guy says this.
12.
12?
Make that 13.
13? 13? What are you talking about? There was only like 5 of them. And the kids beat him up, no problem. But when the kids go back to the dojo, it looks like they got the snot kicked out of them. And now Jackie Poos wants to take the masks away from the kids. Oh yeah, by the way, not once does he ever help the kids fight. And the only reason why I think he doesn't help is because he pulled a muscle when he tripped from dancing. The herpy-der, little herpy-dee. So when he does show up to fight during the big epic battle at the end, it's not even him, it's Tanya. Oh, and I guess that's the power she gets from the mask. She can get blasted right in the face by some biker dude and not even feel it. And that's not even the final battle. After the fighting's all said and done and the suits get arrested, the stupid kids start narrating some baloney about fights in the future being held in virtual reality. Then they run into some random room and put VR headsets on. And the VR, yeah, it looks like absolute trash. And they also ended up ripping off old Atari sounds like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong and Missile Command. And when the kids finally fight, it's absolutely horrible. The boss kid picks Cobra Khan as his character, and the other kids end up picking random characters. And all they do is flail their arms around, which makes the characters kick for some reason, and all sorts of stupid stuff. Now because the kids are losers, they get whipped pretty good and decide to cheat by going 3-on-1 in order to win. And when they win, they have the most amazing and epic celebration I have ever witnessed.
Yeah!
In the comic, it's
And you know what's probably the most ridiculous thing about this movie? I don't even think it actually happened! It suddenly cuts to the treehouse where the kids start randomly babbling about how they need to help other kids and be role models and help the environment, like Jack did with his students.
we have to pass our knowledge down to the next generation, like the White Dragon did to his students, and the mask.
What are you talking about, you idiots? You mean to tell me that these three kids are completely different than these three kids? That's what it sounds like when you listen to them yak. They make it sound like all of the stuff we just watched, with the exception of the treehouse scenes, were all straight out of the comic book. Then some random girl named Amy shows up and starts giving Steve a butt chewing, and we end up finding out that the narrator this whole time was Steve.
Only it's somehow they're not.
Excuse me, are you helping? Didn't I tell you to leave them alone?
Okay, Amy.
No explanation? I thought you were dead.
Some things never change.
Know what you think, but I'll tell you what I know.
But with.
What a joke! And you know what I just thought of? They got the name completely wrong. It should not be called Pocket Ninjas. It should be called Montage the Movie. Seriously, I mean literally half this film is nothing but montages. You get a little bit of the story, and then a montage, and then another part of the story, and then some more montage, and then you get a little more story, and then some more montage, and then even more story, and then more montage. I mean, holy smoke in a handbasket. It's literally like 3 minutes of story, and then 3 minutes of montage, for about an hour and 15 minutes. And even in a couple instances, the stories themselves are montages. The kidnapping of Damien's mom is a montage. The stupid garbage can scene is a montage. And then there's this random scene where the kids are being chased through a parade by the Stingers. And guess what? It's a montage shot. And what's probably the stupidest montage is also probably the most entertaining one. After the Stingers get the snot beat out of them, they go to do some training with the boss kid. And just look at this muck. Now, not only does it look like horrible hogwash, but the training music itself is ridiculous beyond belief. Oh, and apparently the kid can use the Force, because he can knock people down without touching them. Then when the Stingers realize they can't beat the boss by fighting, they just decide to do the Macarena. What's the point? Why are they doing that? And during the entire training session, just look at their faces. All the poppy music and silly goofiness going on, and they look extraordinarily irritated and bored. What were they going for in this scene? Was the director like, oh, okay, this is a very, very serious scene, so you have to be trying really, really hard to become a better martial artist? If that's so, then that is some terrible writing and directing by adding the poppy music and stupid scenes like this. Or did the director want it to be a silly and goofy scene? If he did, then that is some horrible acting. Possibly some of the worst acting I have ever witnessed. Trying to make a happy, silly scene, and these two knuckleheads look irritated as all get out. Then again, maybe they read the movie's description and found out it's nothing at all what the movie is gonna be. If so, that's justifiable anger. Now, to be honest, there are 3 things in here that I actually like. The first thing I like is when Steve is in the treehouse watching TV and the camera shows a poster on the wall of Dinosaurs for Hire. I love Dinosaurs for Hire. Dinosaurs for Hire was a comic book series created in 1998 and was geared more towards the older kids. After a short cancellation, they returned with more colorful artwork and eventually became a game for the Sega Genesis, with the playstyling being like Contra. The second thing I liked is when Tanya makes mention of Beavis and Butthead.
Let's just say while you guys were in the treehouse, reading your comic books and watching Beavis and Butthead.
I love Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and Butthead was an animated sitcom created by Mike Judge, which originated in 1992, but did not hit mainstream TV until 1993 and ran for 7 seasons and even had their own feature-length film. The show did return in 2011 for an 8th season, but only lasted for that 1 season and has not since returned. And the third and final thing I enjoyed was when Damien and his mom are talking and he pulls out a Game Boy. I love the Game Boy! The Nintendo Game Boy was a portable handheld gaming console that was created in You know what? Never mind. So anyway, it's awesome seeing him pull out the Game Boy, but they had to ruin it by not putting a game in there. Why would you do that? Oh, and the idiot sits there and acts like he's playing it too.
Well, maybe I'll come by the dojo and bring him some cookies.
Well, there you go. That was Pocket Ninjas for you. One of the worst movies I have ever seen. Possibly the worst. And you can tell that they ripped off 3 Ninjas and they ripped off Karate Kid because they thought it would make the film better. But instead, it just made it worse. And I spent the entire film basically going, what's this? What's happening there? Why is he saying that? What's going on over there? Why are they talking like that? What's that mean? What's happening? Everything is all chopped up and screwy. You know what I think it is? I think the editors actually put different scenes out of order. They didn't know where to put the scenes and they just threw them in all willy-nilly wherever they felt like. Complete garbage. Complete garbage directing, complete garbage acting, and complete garbage editing. And you know what really makes it, you know what really kicks it in the hind end for me? The way they write the story makes it seem like the events of the film never even took place. So I don't know what's going on with this movie. It's nothing but hogwash. You need to stay away. If you're out and about in the wild and you happen to run across this stupid thing, you take it, you smash it with a hammer. You do something to get rid of it. We need to rid the world of this horrible hogwashy piece of nonsense.
Oh, I see that you have returned.
Yes, I have returned to exact my revenge.
Your return shall be your downfall.
I shall defeat you once and for all.
Then you leave me no choice.
Hi!
Kia. Dum 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 bum doo 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 ba ba da doo dee dee da da ba ba da dum 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 dum
Oh my, oh my, hi, oh my. Oh, wow.
Nana nana boo boos.
Aha.
You missed me. You missed me again. You can't shoot worth a hoot. You missed me. You can't seem to hit me. Oh yeah, you can't shoot. You can't shoot worth. Stop. We must finish this battle in VR.
Hi, let the battle commence.
Hey, alright, yeah, awesome.
Would that not be the most amazing thing to come out of the comic book medium?
That was one of the most ignorant and dumbest things I have ever heard come out of that babble box that you call a mouth.
Oh, Janitor Jake.
You know, I assumed that there would have probably been somebody out there who actually liked Pocket Ninjas, but I did not think that it would be you.
Oh, hey, did you know? There's a trailer out for the new book.
No. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any more garbage coming out of that yak trap of yours. So shut it.
But Janitor Jake, there's a new book.
What did I just say? I said to shut it, but you don't. You keep right on a yakking. So you know what? Now you made me mad.
Oh,
You know what? I'll just take care of the rest of this garbly goop. So you can just skedaddle.
whatever.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.